Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the House Academy Show, entertaining real estate investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about finding landlord cash buyers in any zip code. Now more than ever, it's so important to line up cash buyers that are going to buy houses in the condition that in the condition that you find them, so they can just rent them out. Every community has a person like this, at least one. Usually it's 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And they are sitting around. They've been waiting for an economic downturn. This time it was caused by a virus. Last time around 2010, it was caused by the real estate, bad loans. Mm-hmm. So in a strange way, real estate caused its own problem in around 2007 to 2011. Now it's the victim of this virus. So it doesn't matter. There's cash buyers out there, mm-hmm. and they're trying to find the greatest deals possible so they can rent them out forever. That's their business model.
Well, think about it. I would argue that
you got to get to know these people.
The whole last mess was because they weren't cash buyers. There were buyers that couldn't afford to do what they were doing.
Yes.
How different it would be if we were all cash buyers, like some countries are, like Italy. Like you have to save up and buy a house.
This is kind of, we'll get into the show here in a second. Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the houseacademy.com online community. It's free.
Yeah, life without a mortgage. How interesting would that be? I think that's cool.
My point to this whole...
That's a goal, everybody.
Since we're talking about it, this is kind of the topic. The point, these economic downturns separate the professionals from the wannabes. Mm-hmm. And so if you're over leveraged as a landlord, there's no way you're going to survive this.
Correct.
The only way, and we have lots of friends who are landlords. Mm-hmm. We just talked to some yesterday. I just talked to some yesterday, actually, out on our boat. And they said, everybody stopped paying. Yeah. And fortunately, he said, the only reason I'm going to survive this at all is because I own all these properties free and clear. He's in his late 70s. So he's had these properties for his whole life. Mm-hmm. And that's how you survive this stuff. Exactly. I think we have a show coming up called Cash is King or something like that.
All right. That's cool. Hope so. Good. All right. So do we really? I didn't know. I have to.
Yeah, I think it's on Thursday.
All right. I'll save some information for that. Okay. So Ben wrote, good afternoon. Quick question on
COSL land, which I'm going to interrupt you here for a second. COSL, all caps, land is this Arkansas state centralized way to liquidate back tax property. And it's an amazing website and an amazing situation if you go and look at it.
May I go on?
Yes.
Okay. Do POA and HOA, so Property Owners Association and Homeowners Association, liens, survive the tax deed sale after the state has taken the property back? Do we need to be confirming the amount owed to the POA or HOA before sending an offer? My understanding is that the offer I send is what is needed to own the property if accepted. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thanks, Benji.
Here's what the law says. What the law says and what actually happens is very different here. The state agency or the state itself has to go through a version of judicial foreclosure in Arkansas, really in any state. It's a legal action. And a judge has to stamp it and all kinds of stuff has to happen. And what happens with that, and I'm not specifically sure about Arkansas, but I know for sure in Arizona because we do a lot of tax liens there for judicial foreclosures. It erases every single lien you can possibly think of, except 2 liens. IRS liens, which are really attached to a person, and then by the fact that I don't pay my property taxes and the state takes it back, those IRS liens still are associated with the property, and medical liens, those 2 things. And I think possibly
student college. I think the college
goes away. And then I think
well,
if you have a lien, if you personally have a lien for
in this.
not paying child support, I think that it's things like that that are attached to the person.
Right.
None of those are good reasons to not foreclose on property.
Right.
So what Ben's asking is, if I go buy some properties in Arkansas and there's huge HOAs situations, specifically in Fulton County, Benton County, there's one other one. And if you call the HOAs there, these people are in the business of, collecting $45 a year on a million properties. So, and that's how they get their salaries. And so they'll tell you, no, you go ahead and buy it, knock yourself out. You're going to get a bill from us.
Mhm.
And because it's a good old boys network, some people, if they like you, they'll say, you know what? You don't have to pay. If you're an evil yuppie from Los Angeles like me, who, steals money from people because they don't want their property anymore, they're going to charge you. So the question is,
Whew.
when you buy these properties
Tell us how you really feel. Don't hold back.
from COSL, are you going to get a bill from the homeowners association? And the answer is yes. So what's the answer? Go look in other counties where there's no POA, HOA.
Well, or I was going to say you have to, if you really want to hit these properties, let's just say there's a real good reason. Days on market are phenomenal. The price is great. There's all these other things going on. It just comes with an HOA. So I read Ben's other question was, do I need to find it out ahead of time and factor that into my offer price? Nope.
No,
Because if
no.
you use your offer letter, if you are copying ours that we've made available to the public, if you go to offers and the number 2 owners.com and go to, I think it's forms is
Yeah.
the thing. And you can find our standard house mailer template and land mailer template. If you copy the verbiage that we have there, you have there's a little clause in there like, hey, this offer is subject to me confirming some of the numbers, such as, back taxes and things like this. So you're okay there. So what I'm saying is, Ben, so you sent out an offer to buy this, house for $32,000, let's just say, and you find out they owe $8,000 in HOA fees. You can go, look, I found out you owe so now my offer is $24,000 to account for the $8,000 HOA fees. Or you can pay the HOA fees and then I'll buy it for you again from 32. Pick one.
Do yourself a favor for houses and for land. Don't buy HOA property.
That is easier.
That's it.
If you find it, that's true. Because some of these, if it takes a little bit to sell, it's a headache. It's a headache to keep up with this. And that they often have these transfer fees, which are stupid expensive. So you have to watch, you got to read that. And then you might find yourself out there mowing the lawn because the HOA is going to give you a fine if you don't. There's all kinds of things you don't want to deal with. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I had a lot to say.
Every single mailer that I send out, and if you've done mailers, you know this too. You get some property back that has HOAs attached to it, especially with houses. And you have to be, because sometimes they're great. They sign them and send them back. You have to be very, you have to implement a lot of self-control.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have, if it's not within your acquisition criteria, even if it's super cheap, do some research and make sure. The longest properties that we've owned are HOA properties because we didn't have the self-control. We had one last year. We made $90,000 on it. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It took almost a year to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So is it worth it in the end? I don't think so. Our job in this Land Academy, House Academy environment is to send out so much mail that we have like 9 or 10 or 20 options, acquisition options, and to pick the best 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's some HOAs in there, don't buy them.
Thank you.
Today's topic, finding landlord cash buyers in any zip code. This is why you're listening. Speaking of HOA property, I have never had a landlord come to me, a customer of ours, and say, I love HOA property. I can't wait. If you could send me some more houses that are part of an HOA, that'd be better.
Because
they say the exact opposite.
Then it's easier because I never have to pick the paint colors.
And I love paying those fees every month.
Exactly.
And my tenants love it too.
And I can't stand we believe their garage doors open too long also. And the trash bins out. Boy, that makes me mad.
The only people who win in an HOA environment are the HOAs themselves because they get to collect all the money and tell you what to do.
Right.
And then people who have some type of personality disorder and really have to have no RVs anywhere, or there are people that love to live in an HOA and they have mental issues.
We have a neighbor I have to share. He would love if our whole community was an HOA. I'm sure of it, because the exterior of his house is immaculate to the point that he hoses off the street beyond his driveway. I mean, some would argue, and we're in Southern California here, are we really using our water wisely? But he's
He
that.
needs to have more frequent relations with his wife.
Oh.
That would solve that, or at least put a dent in it.
But see, but then there's
If
some
you
not
hose your
to,
house off, you're probably not listening to the show.
yeah. I thought that was rain's for. Seriously. Well, and honestly, I gotta tell you, I'm having a little trouble with right now. Our beach is closed behind us, correct? And this area behind us is called the Strand. Everybody rides there. Normally, pre-corona, pre-virus and mess, people be riding and waving. You probably, if you've been watching us for a while, you see it going on behind us in the background. It's very entertaining. Now it's
And
boring
disruptive.
and disruptive. That's true too.
Never thought I would
But
miss the disruption.
what's funny is our beach has a daily street sweeper who goes up and down the Strand. Nobody has been on the Strand for 2 weeks, roughly, but we are still daily cleaning. It's the Strand is like you could eat off it right now, which is it's never been that way. So I'm not sure why we're doing that.
Have we even gotten to the topic
No,
yet?
let's get to this. Okay, so how do you find cash buyers? How do you find landlord cash buyers in a zip code?
May I?
Sure.
When you go to do data, when you download a data, let's say in a zip code, I'm going to use 85258 as an example, which is Middle Scottsdale, Arizona. You're going to pull every single house. In our case, we do it with no mortgages. And you're going to sit there and look at this data set in Excel. And you're going to look up and down. It's probably 4 to 8,000 freestanding single-family residential properties with no mortgage, I'm guessing. And then if you sort by an Excel, the owner's name, and you just scan up and down and take a look, eyeball it, you're going to see 2 or 3 people. They're usually LLCs, 2 or 3 entities that own tons of real estate. You obviously only can have 1 or 2 single primary residences. So they're investors in that area. You're going to have to go back, find out who owns these LLCs. And sometimes it's not the exact same name. It could be just the address. A lot of investors, especially back in the day, have separate LLCs for all this, especially accountants, because they do their own tax return and they like to keep the liability separate. That's not so much the case anymore, I don't think. But
It'll be like the properties on Main Street. So it'd be Main Street Properties LLC. And then you'll see Brown Street Properties LLC and whatever street LLC. But you'll notice the mailing address is all the same, is what he's referring to.
so there's invariably there's 2 or 3 or 5 people who own like 10 or 15 or 20 houses in a zip code. Those are the people that you're going to sell the houses to those are the people you're going to sell the houses to. Before you send the mailer out, contact these people and say, what's your sweet spot?
Right.
Do you like 2-bedroom houses, 3-bedroom houses, HOA property? What do you like? They're going to drop everything and have a conversation with you. It's not a sales call. When I started out in this is before the internet. What I used to do is take an ad out in the paper saying I would give a real address. I had nothing to do with the property. I didn't own the property. I don't know who owns it. I would just say for lease, 123 Main Street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $1,400 a month. And I would get barraged with all kinds of people. And that's how I tested the market. This day and age.
That's how he knew what to go buy to see what the response was.
What was going to rent. So these landlords are going to tell you, boy, if I had 3 of these, 3 of those houses, every time I have to release this house, it leases the first day. And it's almost always because it has a lot of bedrooms. There's no vacant 5-bedroom houses on this planet. I'm telling you, there's a ton of 1-bedroom vacant, houses. So again, yesterday we were talking about Moneyball and data. That's it. There's no mystery to this. You need to get these guys in your cell phone. And the first time when the properties come up, long before you buy them, when the properties come up, you text these guys or call these guys and say, I've got this property for 150,000. I think it's worth 250.
Go do a drive-by.
Do a drive-by, let me know. I've got it under contract, even if you do or you don't. I've got it under contract. I'll sell it to you for 160. We don't have any realtors, the whole thing.
Exactly.
You will have a customer for life. You have to make sure, please listen to this. If you download data that has mortgages on it, and you find one of these people, they have 10 houses in there, it's all got mortgage, and you can see the mortgage data, like you can see the leverage percentage. Like there are more landlords out there that love to leverage the hell out of properties. Don't waste your time.
Right.
Do not waste your time, even with one phone call. They're going to be out of business. You can't leverage houses as a landlord. You have to pay cash. So that's why I say download the data from DataTree or RealQuest if you're a member of ours. You have a subscription to both. Make sure you check out the houses that have mortgages on them. That's the whole show. How would you do it? I mean, that's the only way to do it, isn't
That's
it?
the only way to do it. That's the best way to do it. It really is. And like you said, and then I can hear the question, well, why would they buy it from me and not do it themselves? I've wondered that too. They
I've
just
been
don't
wondering
want
that for
to.
25 years.
I've really been wondering
Because they're
that.
not data
And
people.
I've told them,
They're landlords.
I'm like, you could go do this yourself. I could hook you up and you can go make some offers and buy properties like I do. Yeah, no, I'm busy over here. I'm working on that and this. They're like, they know that I'm making some money off it and they love it. Because why? Because I'm still finding it better than it would be that they would have found it on the MLS and they wake up and, they love getting a text from me versus trolling the MLS and trying to undo the agent or undo whatever's going on and get the deal.
She's absolutely right. Every single real estate investor, I don't care if it's houses or skyscrapers, love off-market deals.
Mhm.
They love to be the special person that gets a phone call from somebody like you or
Mhm.
Jill, not me usually. I got this off-market deal. Nobody knows about it. You're the only person, and they jump on it, even if it's a retail price.
And they're busy and they appreciate aggressiveness because that's how they are. So I always tell people to call them, text them, email them, hit
All
them
three.
all three
She
ways.
means all three. Yep.
All three ways. So I will send out an email. I will follow up with a phone number, a phone call. If they don't answer, I'll say, hey, by the way, this is Jill. I just sent you an email on this property. I just got in. Let me know what you think. Hang up, whatever it is. And then I also text, hi, I text you. That was me leaving a message because I sent you an email earlier today. Here's the address. See if you can drive by. Let me know if you're interested. Yep. And then they're like, they love it.
I love doing business with you. But I really need to know on this in the next 24 hours because they're surprise, you're not the only person in my database who owns a bunch of houses. So I need an answer from you. That's how you sell a house.
Right.
Wish you could do dating like that. I've asked you out 2 times.
There it goes. We did so well.
I've asked you out 2 times.
Almost through the whole
Turns
show.
out you're not the only girl I know. So if you're not going to go out with me, just let me know.
Oh, I will. Oh, I will.
I bet more than half the women you say that to would say, you know what? You go find those other girls. That's fine with me. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Totally. Oh boy. Happy you could join us today.
I thought you'd have more to say about that.
We're good. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can find us on the Land Academy Show. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're right here on the House Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called Why Cash is King Now More Than Ever. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. That was creepy or something. You weren't into that, huh?
No, because we use the same example enough. I think we all know how we feel about that. So I don't know. I don't really need to talk about it. Is that okay?
Maybe we have new listeners. No? It's not possible.
Yeah. That's funny. The House Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there. We're Steve and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.